I'm at Relentless. I'm Midwest Territory Manager. I've never been more excited.
He's famous from the 30-30 train.
Yeah, did the 30-30 train with Cory G. Never been so excited to be the smallest person in the gym. You guys killed it this morning. So this morning these guys up here are going to be giving some information to motivate, kind of give you some knowledge that you could be using at any given time. And we're really excited to hear from them. So please give them all your attention. And there will be a Q&A after.
Yeah,
all right, excellent. Take it away.
Thanks. So guys, if any of you follow me on social media, which most of you do, you guys have been seeing I've been hyping the Mindset Manual, which is a book that I've been writing for the last year and a half. And so basically, especially with the age that you guys are, you're getting ready to go out into the real world and be adults and try to get a job or have your own job, be an entrepreneur. And so these are just some principles that Dustin and I have followed for years, and that's why you guys are standing in this gym right now. And so I think if you just grab a couple things today that you can go off into life. We already made the gains in the gym. Now we're trying to make it, and this is just lifestyle stuff in general. So I'm going to go over one of the main keys that Dustin and I both came up with really is we were 15 years old working out in his dad's garage saying, you know what, it'd be cool one day if we lift weights and got paid.
So I want that to soak in for a second. This was over 20 years ago, and we're in my dad's old beat up rusty garage listening to hip hop and lifting weights as 15, 16-year-old kids. And now fast forward 20 some years, we had an event at our gym today, 5 a.m. People came from all over the country to come listen to hip hop and lift weights. So where do those things start at, and when does it become, a fantasy or just an idea that's out there that's unattainable, or when does it become your driving force to where you lock into it and start aligning everything daily so that your path, your life leads to it? Ours led to what we wanted to do, so now you got to find yours, right?
Yeah, and for me it was a lot of you guys know my story. I'm a 4th generation coal miner. So, working underground every day when what you guys are standing on, this is conveyor belt from the coal mine that you guys are standing on right now, which is about as old school as it gets. The miners gave me this gave me some love so I didn't have to spend money on flooring. And so that's what represents hard work. And so when I looked at all the generations, I said, it's not just about me. It's about the next generations. When you find your driving force, fitness is my passion. I think you guys know that because I can't stop it. It's just me. It's inside me. But when it becomes bigger than you, it's about changing generations. I always joke I want my grandkids to say, Grandpa was a G. Because that's how I want. And they're going to see stuff like this and be like, damn, he was a G. No. So it's one of those things where I'm not tired when I get up because the drive is so big. Because my son was reading the Mindset Manual before he went to bed the other night. Daddy, I didn't know this about you. That's what changes generations. And so when you guys find what your passion is, and you put that blue collar work, which is what you're standing on right now, that's what makes the difference. So it is a dream, but it became reality. And so it ain't easy. You guys just see, I just walked away from one of the biggest companies in industry because it was my time. It was time to do something else. Because this is what I'm passionate about just as much as the fitness. It's about teaching, it's about educating. So the purpose started in the gym, but now it's about development. And so if you guys can find out what your passion is, and you mesh it with what the purpose is, and everybody's is different. Everybody's is different. Dustin's is different from mine. We might have the same goal, but his passion, his purpose is different than my purpose, and your purpose will be different. And guess what? It doesn't matter if anybody believes it. I used to tell people all the time, Dustin remembers it, I'm gonna be on the cover of magazines, I'm gonna own my own gym. I was 160 in high school with no abs. People were like, what? How's that gonna happen? But it took 15 years. It isn't just like my rap album went platinum overnight. You know what I'm saying? It took time. And we went through so many things over time. We had this gym open, and we thought we were about to have it open. The guy walked in and said, hey, you didn't meet code, you guys are shut down. We had 6 months trying to climb out of that, wasn't it, D?
Oh yeah, new architectural plans, all kinds of stuff. And even once we had it up and rolling for years, just because we had that vision and we locked everything in, doesn't mean it was gonna be easy and didn't mean we got sidetracked. There was at one point, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where it looked like the gym might even go under. This was when social media was just starting to take off, so really, no one knew us outside of Pataskal. We still had this big vision for it, but no one knew us except for the people right across the street. So we're at a point where the business is struggling, and so now I'm starting to think the dream's over. And I'll never forget, Cory came to me and he said, D, he said, I see the vision for the gym. It doesn't matter if we're struggling now. We're gonna make this the most famous gym in the world. We're gonna be bigger than Westside Barbell. People all over the world are gonna know about Old School Gym. And I can remember thinking how is this even possible? Like I said, this was like the MySpace days, basically, Maybe Facebook was just starting.
These guys weren't even born yet.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I can remember thinking okay, I can't even comprehend how this is gonna happen, but I've known Cory for a long time, and I'm gonna trust his vision. You know, and now look, you guys have came from all over here. The gym obviously made it through that rough point, and we're rolling. You know, so just because you get locked in to your vision doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. And then you're not at some point going to hit that hiccup and think, oh, maybe it's not going to work out. You just got to keep grinding.
But how you're able to get through the hiccup is number 2, is wake your ass up. It's the work. It's the grind. Like, look, like I talked about, when the purpose is real, I get up, I'm not tired. Maybe, like, physically sometimes, but I literally, like, get up, I'm blind as shit, so I put my contacts in, and I look at myself, and I'm like, wake the fuck up, Cory! That's what I think in my head. I don't say it because I'll wake up my whole house. But that's really what I think, because that's what changes the game. It's a separator. Guys, on any college campus, there's somebody stronger than me, there's somebody leaner than me, there's somebody smarter than me, but I'll outwork their ass. That's the thing. That's the thing about me. Every day, 4 a.m. Every day, 4 a.m. I get out of bed like, yeah, it's time. And that's how you got to be. But if the passion is there, it doesn't feel like work, guys. And so when people think, like, how the hell am I going to get up at 4 a.m.? How am I going to get up at 5? You might get up at 8. Get up at 7. Transition your time, because there's uninterrupted time in the mornings that is special. Because you guys, look, my kids are sleeping. My wife's sleeping. Most of the world is sleeping, so I can think clearly. I can get my workout in. I can develop myself in the gym. I can develop myself out of the gym. And if you guys take that serious, maybe not right now on Thursday night when you're out at the bar, I get it. You guys, I get the age group, but understand that I've been doing that for a decade. And if me and you are in the same business, if we got the same personal training studio and you get up at 7 and I get up at 4, who's gonna win? Unless you're the most efficient person I ever met, you ain't gonna beat me. And so that's the separator. And if you want it bad enough, that's what makes the difference right there. So I mean, that's the key. When Dustin started getting up earlier, he came out of college, he came in the business a little bit later, his business started growing more. You got more hours, you got more time. I mean, you got plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. And that's it. And so I hang out with Arnold, you know what he says? He travels all over the world. His kids told me that he gets up in the morning, he's knocking on the door at 5 a.m. Want to take a bike ride? Arnold Schwarzenegger could have retired how many years ago? But he can't stay in bed because he's so excited about what's going on. And that's where you got to get it. And if you're not that way, then you're not doing probably what you're meant to do. And you're at the age group right now, don't settle. Don't settle for it. I could have easily said, let me stay in this coal mine. I'm making $1,000 a week, and let me just do the status quo, what the rest of my family done since the late 1800s. Instead, I said, I don't know one motherfucker that makes money lifting weights, but it's going to be my time. And also, where we're from back home, there wasn't nobody to look up to. Right, Dustin? I mean, we had our parents that would work hard, but at the end of the day, it was like there was nobody that...
It was more just acceptable.
Yeah.
You know, and not that there's anything wrong with that lifestyle, but if you want something bigger for yourself, you got to be able to latch onto it.
I wanted to be like somebody where I come from that people look up to. I wanted the high school kids to go, I can be like Cory. And that's, once again, that comes back to the purpose. Define your goals. That's key. Now, people think like it's kind of cheesy to write down your goals. But I'm going to tell you what, $1 notebook that all y'all got, or your notes section on your phone, whatever it is, could make all the difference in the world. Now I copy them and put them on my blog at Cory G Fitness, but normally I wrote it down every day. I got a stack of notebooks at my house. And if you would go through and see how these goals became reality over the last 10 years, it's unbelievable. I go back through them and think, man, I was thinking that big already then, and maybe it carried over for 1 or 2 notebooks. Then eventually I got to cross it out. So if you can pick 6 things, 3 of them might be a little lofty, 3 of them might be something, you know, it's in your wheelhouse, you have to look at them every day, or it's out of sight, it's out of mind.
You know, something I want to add to that too, you know, on top of writing down your goals, and I tell this to my athletes all the time, once you pick your goal, you can't be afraid or embarrassed to say it out loud. You know, so too often I hear people say, oh yeah, this year I'm going to, you know, try to place at state, or oh, I'm going to, you know, try to be trained. As soon as you start to say try, then you're already accepting in your head that it might not happen. You know, you got to be able to say your goals out loud before they're going to happen, because then that's when you start to believe it. And if you start to believe it, other people are going to believe it. If you can't say it out loud and with confidence, you might as well forget it. So don't ever be, you know, ashamed or embarrassed. Don't feel like you're bragging. You're setting the tone and saying, here's what I'm going to do. Not what I'm going to try to do. This is what I'm setting out for myself, and now I'm going to align my day after day, to be able to get to it.
Next is be relentless. If I want you to be my friend, I won't leave you alone. That's how you got to be. If I want to learn from you, you will know me. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter what you do. Dr. Serrano, who actually lives pretty close here, he was my chief formulator at Muscle Farm. I was taking a company's protein called Beverly International back in the day, and his name was on the front of the jug. I Googled him, so he lived 2 miles from me. So his office was like 3 miles from us. So I started showing up at his office. He wouldn't see me the first time, wouldn't see me the second time. Third time, I saw him behind the desk. He said, dude, what do you want? I said, I think we should be friends. That's it. And he goes, what? I was like, man, I don't come from an academic background. I want to learn from you. Same thing with Louis Simmons. Same thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, if I want to know and learn from you, I'm like a bad, fly. Like, that's the key, though, because I'm persistent. In the industry, I live here, so at the Arnold Classic, I've been going there since 2000. I knew I could be me this entire time. I went to all these supplement companies. I should be your fitness guy. I should do the programming. I can interact with the customer. No one's fucking listening to me. So I'm here like this, banging on the door. Boom, boom, I'm saying, come on, answer it. No one's fucking answering it. 5 years later, you know what I said? Maybe I'll start my own thing. Maybe I know how to take care of the customer because I know what I would want if I was you guys. And so that's how I set out to do it. I used to think back, if one of these supplement dudes, we didn't have the internet when I was first taking supplements in 96, 97 really. I was like, if one of these dudes was taking supplements and they tweeted me back, hey, this is how you take creatine. I probably would have always bought their creatine because they care. Guess what? I care. And so when it wasn't about that anymore, that's why I left. And so, because it's really about you guys. You're the ones that support us. And so at the end of the day, you got to have that relentless. If your purpose is there, your passion is there, then it's don't take no for an answer. If any of you guys want to learn from me, you hit me up and I go, make it happen. Well, what's that mean? I don't know. What's it mean? You show up at the gym at 5 a.m.? Do you show up at my office? Do you call me till I call you back? Do you try to find my number? I don't know, but that's what I tell people. I want to learn from you. I live in Texas. Okay, make it happen. Some of these dudes show up at the gym at 5 in the morning. They're like, hey, I want to need a day pass. Where are you from? Alabama. What are you doing here? I drove all the way up here so I could get a session in. I want to learn a couple things. That's what makes it happen. That's what it takes. So
I want to tell a story about myself real quick and how, kind of relentless mindset is, kind of translated in my career. Some of you guys that may follow me, you might know I'm the strength coach for the Ohio State wrestling team. Now,
national champs.
That's right, baby.
Yeah.
First one in school history. No big deal. But so I wrestled in high school, but I wasn't a good wrestler. Just your average Joe, right? Well, I was lucky enough to work with a guy, Tommy Rollins, who was a 2-time Olympic alternate, a good friend of mine. I worked with him here from 2010 to 2012, and he told me right around 2012, he said, hey, I might be able to get you down there to Ohio State to work with some of the guys. So guess what I did? I started volunteering my time. I started showing up down there. And the coach would let me work with maybe one guy. I got to work with Reese Humphrey a little bit. I got to work with maybe one kid on the team that was redshirted. And so for a year and a half, 3 days a week, I would drive down there. They're not paying me a penny, right? 45 minutes each way, rain, snow, shine, it didn't matter. And I'd go there, and some days I'd have one guy to work with, some days 3 or whatever. I was like, you know what? I know I can make an impact on this team, so I'm going to get down there and I'm going to prove my worth to them. And I can still remember about a year into this, my wife's probably getting sick of it because she's thinking, you got a business to run, you're blocking off your morning to go down there and train them for free when you got clients you could be training here and making money. And I remember there was a huge snowstorm, it was like level 1, level 3, whatever it is where you're not supposed to be on the road unless you're going to the hospital or something. Yeah. She was like, Reese is out of town, you're only going to have one guy today, you're going to drive all the way down. I said, I committed to Coach Ryan that I'm going to be there 3 days a week. I said, I'm driving down there. So now let's fast forward, a little ways down. I did that for a year and a half. Now I got an NCAA championship ring. I helped them win the first team title in school history. I'm on staff down there. I'm the strength coach, So you might see me on Instagram and think, oh, he's the man. He must have been a great wrestler. No. You know what it was? I proved my worth to him, and I was relentless. Once I got my foot in the door, I was like, no one's taking this from me. And there was even, other strength coaches that have came and went since I've been there. But you know what? They weren't able to grind it out like me, and that's why I'm in that position.
Talk about being recognized at the dual meet. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, so I got to be, so I obviously the strength coach. I do most of the stuff behind the scenes. I'm in there working out with them and put them through their lifts or whatever. But there's no glory on the mat for it. I'm not out there coaching them on the mat because I'm like teaching them wrestling, right? Well, this year, Coach Ryan asked me to be an honorary coach for a home dual meet. So we did the home dual meet against Arizona State. I got to put on the suit before the match. I go out there in St. John's Arena, get my hand raised, and read my credentials out. And a standing ovation. You have 6,000 to 7,000 people in St. John's Arena. I thought, fuck, I never even wrestled at the state tournament. And here I am getting my hand raised in a suit with a national title ring on. So it was a pretty surreal moment, But my point is that didn't happen without waking up. I had the goal to be the most sought after strength coach for wrestlers in the country, which obviously I'm still grinding towards that. And I was relentless. Once my foot was in the door, I didn't stop. You know, there could have been many times where I could have said, you know what, this is too much work. I'm missing out on too much money at the gym. But I kept the big picture locked into my head, and a big part of it was because of the brainwashing from this guy. So, you know, the stuff you see him putting out there, you know, reading the mindset manual, you just gotta trust in it, believe in it, you'll be all right.
So next is be a gamer. Now you got all this stuff in check, right? But now it's time. Just like me, I'm walking in Arnold Schwarzenegger's office. I see Life-Size Terminator, you know, the True Lies plane. I see all the pictures with presidents, and this is my shot. I got my idols gonna walk in, and do I get a chance to do business with them? Am I gonna pee down my leg, or am I gonna be a gamer? Because that's why I tell my son at home, you know, he did a couple like pitch hit and run contests, like Gregory's, we show up. That's it. That's the brainwash I'm already starting. He's 10. I said, I don't care if you strike out 100 times, but you go there with the ambition to go get it. And that's what I want. That's the brainwash I'm starting at a young age. So I sit in there and Arnold walks in and says, hello, hello. He sits down and he says, so why do I want to do this? And he just shuts up. And he's just waiting there. And I'm sitting there going, oh shit, right? so I just start talking because no one's talking. I said, look, I think we need to teach kids how to quit texting in the gym, start supersetting again, bring back the 70s stuff. Let me go dig into the pumping iron stuff. Let me teach them that work. I want to educate them. I'm not telling you we should start a line and say that's the end all. He's like, well, I want to say hard work, show them how to do this stuff, tell them how to eat, then you take the supplements, then you become a champion. It's the mindset. I said, exactly. And actually at the time, Get Swole was coming out from bodybuilding.com. And I had a little trailer on my computer and he watched it. And he was like, I was like, this is what I want to do, Arnold. He stood right over there and I interviewed him for an hour and a half. And I was standing in here and we're talking and I like dozed off for a second. I'm thinking, Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger's in my gym. I can't even believe this. And he's saying about, you know, dumbbell pullovers and all these old school things, and it just brings him back to how much fun he had in his life. And so at that point in time, I was on the cover of Fitness RX with my kids. That had never really been done before. One of the investors had bought it at the airport. He throws it to him in a meeting. And I was like, shit, I should have thought of this, right? But I didn't. So he picks it up and he goes, well, this is pretty cool. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm sitting this far away and Arnold's looking at myself in a magazine doing pull-ups over there against that wall. He's like, where's that gym at? I was like, well, that's old school gym. That's in Columbus. He was like, he knew right in that second that I understood the old school shit, that I knew how to get in condition, that obviously I was a family man too, and that I was there for a reason. And so when I had that opportunity, I got up that morning with an eerie calm. There wasn't one fucking second that I was gonna not let Arnold Schwarzenegger be my business partner. Because if I would have let that get away from me, I would have never lived it down. You guys will all come into points of your life where that'll come, you know, where it's game time. And you gotta like thrive on it. It's that Michael Jordan shit, like give me the ball. If that's what it is, that Kobe Bryant, that killer instinct, like I'm not coming out of this meeting without you. He signed the paperwork 20 minutes later, guys. Like we killed it. And that was the key. And so when you come up to that moment, but if you're prepared and you got the purpose, it doesn't even feel, you're not even nervous because it's time. And so I want you guys to know that when it's time for that, you gotta shine. You gotta grind, then you gotta shine. That's it. That's it.
You think if he'd have walked into that meeting thinking, man, I hope Arnold works with us, you think it would have happened? No.
Hell no.
He already had his mind made up. And so you got to take that, you know, obviously we're talking big picture stuff here about life. You know, even to slow it down and think about your workout in the gym, whether it's, you know, whether you're doing, you know, conditioning, whether you're lifting, whatever it is. If you go into a set thinking, I'm not sure if I'm going to get this, you're not going to fucking get it, you know? If you're doing a sprint and you think, I don't know if I can beat this guy, then you're not going to. You know, so it's just a simple thing. You cannot have doubt in your mind. Once you let doubt creep in, you're fucked. Because self-doubt is poison. So whether it's in, you know, big life pictures, but just every day in the gym, every set, every rep, you got to believe it's going to happen or it's just not going to happen.
Next point is self-educate. You guys are all obviously in school or, you know, soon to be out of school. I never went to college really, but I always self-educated myself. And what I'm talking about is they can teach you these 101s or whatever y'all are taking, but the real life shit's really where it goes down. And so when you're learning from somebody and you're reading about people that have done what you guys all want to do, when you leave college, you're not done. You have to work your mind just as much as your body. A lot of people always kind of like, be like, well, I don't really like to read. I read one book in high school. I fucking hated it. Because I was writing like workouts down in the study hall. I didn't give a shit about geometry or any of that crap. I just wanted to lift weights.
I lived with them in college. I could tell you some stories on the testing.
I was like doing shots of tequila trying to get ready for like midterms and shit. I went to 1 year of school. It was bad. So the thing is that like, because once I learned and I got onto the stuff that was teaching me what I want to do in my life, I couldn't put it down. I have an entire library at my house now. So if I urge you even 20 minutes a day, develop yourself, because it will make a massive difference in your life. So you have to self-educate. Me and Dee talked about it forever. I'm always pushing everybody around here to educate themselves a little bit more. That's for sure. 2 more, guys. Urgency. Not tomorrow, today. Not tomorrow, today. I'm gonna start my diet on Monday. No. Start it today. I'm gonna read, I'm gonna get the book, I'm gonna start, no. Do 15 minutes later today. The urgency is the key, guys. I don't wait. Now, I will say, sometimes a little collateral damage with that, because I'm not the most particular guy. You can ask Dustin sometimes, but I like to get things going. And I'm on the fly. Like the Muscle Farm logo took us like 2 years to figure it out right. And then once it got all blocked out green, everybody really knew it. At first it had silver and it had white, and it was all a fucking mess. You couldn't see it on the UFC for nothing, but we got it going. The mindset manual, I got 1,000 books out. I'm still changing some stuff as we go along, because I reread it and I was like, well, I need to change that. But you know what? I just got it going. Because there's urgency, because I feel like even if I need 2 sentences to change, you guys will still get great info from it. And so at the end of the day, like, don't wait. And don't wait on anybody else. When you guys leave college, or when you leave high school, whatever it is, no one's paying your bills but you. You got to count on you. So there has to be urgency. I will bet on me any day of the week. That's it. Because I know what I'm going to do. So you got to have that urgency. It has to happen today.
Yeah, once today's gone, I mean, it's gone. And if you put it up till tomorrow becomes next week, then it becomes next month, and it's like, oh, maybe a year from now. If it's a goal, if it's your mindset, it got to be today. You know, once today's gone, that's it.
If Dustin would have waited a little bit longer to call down Ohio State or go down, he wouldn't have been getting his hand raised with the block O in the middle of St. John's. Like, that's the urgency you guys gotta take.
And sometimes you just gotta, like he's talked about going on the fly, you just gotta figure things out as you go. You don't have to have the business plan or whatever it is completely ironed out and every single detail figured out. Go and make it happen. Like he's saying, don't wait on someone else. That's one of the biggest excuses I hear for people, whether it's not start their new workout plan, not to start their own business, not to go away to school because their friend's not sure if they're gonna, whatever it is, don't wait on someone else. Once you got your mind made up, put one foot in front of the other, and then you'll figure it out from there. You're not always going to know. I mean, some of the stuff that we're working on right now, we don't know what the end result is going to be, but we just know we got to get it started and go with it.
And the last thing I want to talk about is daily perspective. So I always talk about, like, you get up out of bed, you like stub your toe, maybe your dog shits on the floor, maybe your car don't start. You're like, and somebody goes, hey, how's your day going? You're like, oh, I'm having a bad day. Well, you're really not having a bad day. I'm going to tell you about my bad day. My old man got in a car wreck probably about 7-8 years ago. I looked for him for 24 hours and found out that it was a fatal accident, 1 car accident. It was probably the worst day I could have ever dreamed of. So every day is a good day compared to that day. Everybody has one of those days. Hopefully it isn't as drastic as mine. But everybody has that day that they wish never happened, right? Or maybe somebody in your family wished never happened. And so when you get up, 1, feel blessed because you're up. 2, if you think it's a bad day, it's not. So take a deep breath. You're in a moment right here for a reason. Enjoy it. And I just really appreciate you guys coming, because I think we got some light bulbs turned on in the room. What do you think, Dave?
For sure.
And I appreciate you guys waking your ass up today. So thank you.